We're good.
We're good to go.
We're good to go.
Welcome to JP Bowl here on a beautiful, sunny September afternoon where
We're good to go.
Oh, am I? And I'm pleased to be joined by the one and the only,
Yes.
Lieutenant Eric. Eric, how you doing today?
Great. We had some audio issues. That's all taken care of. I think we're all getting going now, and it's all going good. Great day for a football game here. I know you and I were doing the pregame for the home opener here about a month ago. It seems like an eternity ago already. A little bit of showers there ending the game, but looks like today no chance of any precipitation. Bit of a breeze, clear skies, going to be nice, and about 22, 23 for kickoff. So this is a great day for a football game. And as you said, if you're still thinking about maybe coming down, the code again, EdmontonHuskies.com. EST. Correct?
EST, EdmontonHuskies.com.
50% off tickets, so get in here. It's a great deal. And as you mentioned, crosstown rivalry, baby. This is the back half of it. Huskies eking one out last week, tale of two halves. They were up early. Then the Wildcats kind of came back in the second half. But the Huskies would hang on. Rushing attack solved them good. I was talking to GM Jason Lorrimer here earlier. He just said the Wildcats just started dumping things off and simplifying their offensive playbook. So should be an interesting one. But as you mentioned earlier too, and I don't know if people could maybe hear you as something was muted, but this is a make or break. Like this is.
I absolutely think. I mean, both these teams are 1-3. They're both sitting at the bottom of the PFC right now, and. As this is only an 8-game season.
Yeah.
You go to 1-4. There's only 3 games left. The best you're going to be is a 500 team.
Yeah.
And that's not going to make you into the playoffs in the PFC.
Yeah.
So it really is a true battle here today. And to be honest, Eric, I've been poring over the stats from this, from the Wildcats, from the Huskies, and 2 totally different teams.
Yeah.
In how they approach the game, how they play the game. The Edmonton Wildcats, I spoke with some of the coaching staff before the game. They have had some issues with Marcus Sotero, their quarterback, who is not dressing today. Unfortunately, it just was deemed it was too he's just taken too many hits.
Yep.
And that's just not a good thing, so they're being very cautious with him. So that brings in Carson Elkew, who came in last week.
Yes.
And was probably problematic. And we'll find out. We're going to have Jason Lorrimer on, the GM of the Huskies. And we're also going to be joined by Ian McLean later in the broadcast. He was the head coach that took this team to back-to-back national championships in 04 and 05.
Royalty
around JP Bowl. So we're going to have him on as well. But back to last week, that was a problem for the Huskies, and it'll be interesting to see because Carson Elkew's getting the ball from the start.
Yep.
There are some that think that had the Wildcats put him in earlier, that may have been a different ending to that game. But credit to the Huskies. The Huskies hung on. They withstood the pushback from the Edmonton Wildcats and came out with that win to get their first win of the season. Current Prairie Conference standings have the Saskatoon Hilltops sitting atop of the league at 3-1. Regina also at 3-1. The Calgary Colts and the Winnipeg Rifles, and this is important, the Calgary Colts and the Winnipeg Rifles both sit at 2-2. Okay, so getting in the top 4 teams in the PFC make the playoffs. That is why this is a very important game for whoever comes out on top because you put yourself right back into that playoff race.
And just some out-of-town scoreboard watching today, including this game from the JP Bowl. 2 other games in the PFC today. The Thunder are at home to the Rifles, also 1 o'clock kickoff, Leibel Field. And down in Calgary, it's the Colts hosting the Hilltops.
Right.
So, I mean, if you look at results kind of going that way, you would maybe think if you're a betting man that the Thunder and the Hilltops should be coming out with W's, which mean the Colts and the Rifles coming out with L's. So,
well, if they drop to 2-3, and whoever wins today picks up that second win, goes up to 2-3, well, automatically you have a 3-4-5 tie in this conference, which means it's anybody's to lose or to win.
And the Huskies would then put themselves in position. They'll go and visit the Colts, a home and home actually, next week in Calgary, and then the following at home to Calgary. So,
well,
not looking too far ahead, but you could see kind of how that develops.
Well, Eric, that means the Huskies can write their own destiny.
Pretty much.
They are in control.
After that terrible road trip to start the season. I mean, that was a road through hell almost to start a season and a campaign.
Well, it's not easy going on the road that early. It's not even easy going on the road to Saskatoon.
Yeah.
That is a very difficult place to play. And that's what happens when you go there. You get off to an 0-3 start. We were here for the season opener.
Yep.
It was a tight game, and then Regina just pulled away.
Yeah.
So obviously Regina and Saskatoon are the class of the Prairie Football Conference. But, hey, I'll tell you what, you just got to get into those playoffs and anything can happen.
Get into the dance, and we'll see. And then at least you give yourself a fighting chance. But you're right. I mean, this is, in terms of handling that road trip, and they all knew it was going to, you take your beating, you take your lashing, you get out there and you hope for the best, but you do it. But you come back. But now sitting in this position, getting that win last week, if you can get a result today, those 2 games then against the Colts, here it is. It's right in front of you after that road trip.
Absolutely.
Too, so.
It's for the taking. Yep. Who do the Wildcats have the rest of the way? Because that's going to be interesting as well to suggest, I think the Huskies' path to making the playoffs, if they are to get a win today, is an easier path to success than it would be for the Wildcats.
Wildcats will host the Hilltops next Sunday. And then we will go following that. I'll just give you the Wildcat rundown here. They'll host the Hilltops next Sunday, if my mouse here works correctly. Then they got next the Sunday after that, which would be the 28th. Let's see where the Wildcats are here. They will visit Winnipeg.
Yeah,
so those at home to Saskatoon, visiting Winnipeg. And then that Thanksgiving season ender for the Wildcats, we'll see them visiting the Thunder.
Okay, so here's what I'm seeing right away, is that the hardest part of the season for the Huskies was off the start. They're going to finish with a home and home, like you said, against Calgary, which you'd think they can at least get one of those wins.
And then that Thanksgiving, they'll host the Rifles to cap the season.
Cap the season with that. So, look, what I'm seeing here is this is a massive, massive game for the Huskies. If they can pull out a victory today, that sets them up for a potential playoff run to get back into the playoffs. And I said it off the top, this is, I believe, a loser goes home game.
Yeah.
And so hopefully for your Huskies, they can get it done and then pick up 1 or 2 against Calgary. You know, anything can happen. And make a run for the playoffs. Your starting lineups for the Edmonton Huskies will start on defense. You got Braden Ross, Michael Hyacinto, Talon Highland on the D-line. At linebackers, you got Christopher Mattiello, Cage Houle, and Mateo Muir. And then in your secondary, you have Roshan Robinson at corner, Philip Logali at half, Camden Collett at safety, Moise Mutsubutsi at weak half, and Juven St-Hilaire at the weak corner. Your starters for the Huskies on offense, on the O-line, you've got Bjorn Nelson, Jacob Patrick, Logan Mark, Joshua Thomas, and Faali Alamona at tackle. In the backfield, you've got Wesley Neitz starting at quarterback with Michael Olea and Sina Mortosi. Hey, Beulah. At fullback, you've got Dustin Campbell. And at receiver, you've got Cameron Coyne, Daniel Youssef, the massive, hulking
Youssef.
Daniel Youssef, William Campbell, and Aiden James. Your kicker and punter is Boaz Komu for the Edmonton Huskies. Eric, looking at what happened last game, because that's such a beautiful thing, and I'm glad they do that, and I hope they stick with it. And what I'm referring to is a home-and-home game back-to-back against, whether it's the Huskies, Wildcats, that's great, but even across the league.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it helps a lot for preparation. I think it delivers a better product.
Yeah.
Because now you game plan for this team already 1 week ago. You don't have to be redundant and going. You look at what they did last week, and now it's a true test to say, okay, who's going to make the adjustments and come out on top?
Well, and especially last game when you say you could argue too many games in it,
Sure.
given the halves. I mean, the Wildcats, I believe, getting 2 points in that first half, but Wesley Neitz turning it on, 16 completions, 241 and a touchdown, but it was the running game that really carried the Huskies last week. And when you look at Carson Elkew, you mentioned, I mean, he had a near perfect quarterback rating. 2 touchdowns, 237. I mean, it was kind of all going through him. And the rushing attack for the Wildcats kind of non-existent as compared to the Huskies. So I don't know if it'll be the same again. I mean, we shall see. Maybe the Huskies passing, kind of wakes up here. But Aaron DeMarchant and Sena Mortazzi combining for well over 200, close to 250, both averaging. I mean, Martazzi averaging close to 9 yards an attempt, and DeMarchant just over 8. So that was a big strength for them. But again, maybe it's the total flip. Maybe you flip that all out, and the Wildcats answer the Huskies' rushing game, and maybe the Huskies have an answer for Carson Elkew. But it's kind of funny that these two quarterbacks going into this, you wouldn't think, given the beginning of the season, that they would be, and here they are starting the second half of a crosstown rivalry. So you're right. I think it gives you a lot more kind of juice for these matchups. I mean, playing your rival is one thing, but having a back-to-back is just nice. It's especially, I think, how the last game went and the fact that it was so lopsided in the first. Wildcats made a game out of it in the second. Huskies ultimately holding on. So, I mean, at least going into some of these games, and we were here for the home opener against Regina, and I mean, let's be honest, you kind of know who eats in this league for the most part. And you're right, they kept it close against Thunder early. Thunder kind of pulled away. But these games, given the fact that they're both the same record, 1-3, both kind of, similar in terms of points for and points against this season. So really, it's one of these games where you don't want to say it, but you flip a coin.
Yeah.
And whoever, this isn't just coming in and some team might be just stacked better than you or more physical or more size or what have you. These are two obviously even-matched teams, so it'll be interesting to see which way this kind of goes. And again, whether it's the Huskies' rushing attack or whether it's the Wildcats through the air and, which kind of weaponry comes to the top.
Well, and I really think that this game is going to be decided by a couple factors. And just the secondary of the Edmonton Huskies are going to be challenged today.
Yeah.
It is very clear that they want to use Carson Elkew, pass the ball with Carson Elkew and push the ball downfield, something that they weren't able to do earlier in the year. So the secondary, for sure, Camden Collette at safety, Philip Legali at half, those guys are going to have to be on their A game because they're going to be pushing the ball downfield with their arm. Now, Wildcats lead the PFC in passing yards with 1,118. So they were already passing the ball. Now they've found something in this young quarterback. So that is something that the Edmonton Huskies definitely need to be aware of and be prepared for, which I'm sure the coaching staff has this team ready for. I also think that this game, if somebody can come out, if the Edmonton Huskies can come out and establish and put up points in the first quarter, I think that's going to help them to coming out on top. Both of these teams have trouble scoring in the first quarter. The Huskies, unfortunately, have not scored a single point in the third quarter. okay? So they need to come out and put the boots down and try to take control of this game early.
Doesn't say much for a halftime adjustment, I guess, when you look at that metric, hey?
Well, it's funny because, Matt and I, we do the pre- and post-game for the Elks, and that's the Elks' lowest scoring total quarter as well, and it's usually kills them.
Yeah.
So the Huskies need to change that. They need to come out of the half with a stronger offensive approach and put points on the board. But the Huskies have scored 6 points in the first quarter. The Wildcats have only scored 9 points in the first quarter. Okay,
slow starters.
If somebody can break that trend, I think it would be beneficial, especially for the Huskies, if they can come out and, say, get 10, 14 points up on the board. That might be enough to put some doubt in the minds of the Edmonton Wildcats. And, yeah, like I said, you got to stop the pass. If you want to beat the Wildcats, you're going to have to stop the pass.
Jacob St. Hilaire and Mackay Tyrell, both touchdown grabbers for the Wildcats last week in that win. Tyrell, 86 yards on 5 grabs. St. Hilaire, 61 yards on 5 grabs as well. Tayshawn Okorodudu and Mark Maragold, both 7 catches. They are joint led the way for the Wildcats last week. But, yeah, a good group of receivers, and you talk about Carson Elkew and what he was able to do. An outstanding QB rating. Nothing too much to speak of the run game, not with the running backs, nor Carson Elkew. He had 1 attempt for 2 yards there. So, but Wesley Neitz, on the other hand, had a pretty clean game himself, and also showing that he can run the ball as well. 6 attempts for 41 yards along the ground. So it is a running by committee. I mean, we talked about DeMerchant and Martozzi and the two-headed monster there, but Neitz can run the ball. Dustin Campbell, he had the touchdown along the ground, just 2 attempts for 7 yards. Thought you were hitting me there.
Sorry.
I was gonna. What did I do? So no, it's the Huskies can run the ball from a variety of positions, not just the RB, but also the QB. That's going to make it interesting. But yeah, I mean, you look at this and it looks like, and maybe again, it'll probably all change today and it'll be all flipped. Maybe the Wildcats will bust off for some sort of ground attack and Neitz lights it up through the air. But I mean, looking at this, it's just stacked one way: Wildcats receiving and passing, and for the Huskies all along the ground.
Well, yeah, you just never know, and that's what these crosstown rivalries bring. This is something where, for those that aren't as, I guess, aware of why does Edmonton have 2 junior teams? How, where no other city in Canada has 2 other junior teams? And that's a good question, but they have. They have pretty much since they came into the PFC. And these games are so much more meaningful because the kids that are on the field, they know each other.
Yeah.
They've for most of them, they've played their whole lives against each other.
Yeah.
And the general rule of thumb, at least,
you've been part of this, right?
Yeah,
it's
like.
awesome.
And you see people that, you chose to go to them. Oh, you chose to go to the, because generally the Wildcats will take part of, most of North Edmonton.
Is that
St.
the territorial?
Albert and Sherwood Park.
Okay. All right.
Leduc. Whereas, Southwest Edmonton, West Edmonton, Northwest Edmonton is traditionally, now there's always changes to that, but traditionally that's how that lays out. They say the river splits the 2 teams.
Yep.
So there's emotions.
Yes.
Because these guys have been playing against each other. And hand up for those that also don't know, I worked with the Wildcats a few years ago.
That's why you're in neutral black today. And,
I was the vice president of player ops, and you have kids that will cross the river. They'll play a year or 2 with the Huskies, then they'll go play with the Wildcats because they're not getting playing time. They don't like how things are going, yada, yada, yada. So that adds so many layers to these games, and they're usually quite emotional and quite physical. So that's what you're going to expect to see. And it's not too late. I mean, this is supposed to get up to 23, 24
It's going to be a
afternoon.
beautiful day. Clear skies. Again, a bit of a breeze to cool you off, which is nice.
Yes.
But if you're in the sun, you're loving it today.
Yeah, and as you can see in the back, that is a beer tent. So come on down, have a cold one, have a hot dog, because the Edmonton Huskies want to fill the stands. So it's not too late. You still have 40 minutes till game time. Go to edmontonhuskies.com, click on purchase tickets, use promo code EST, and you get 50% off your tickets.
50%.
Even if you want to come by yourself. Purchase a single ticket. It's not a 2-for-1, or you have to buy 6 and get 3. It's none of that.
Hey, come hang out with me.
come hang out. Eric and I will be here.
Yeah.
And come say hi and how you doing.
Lots of Wildcats fans coming into the gates too, which is nice. I mean, I know we were here for the Thunder game earlier. They travel well, obviously, but it's an out-of-town crowd that they kind of. This is a mixed thing. Like, I mean, this is, you got Wildcat shirts coming in, Huskies shirts followed, and vice versa. Even Barry the Cheater in the Nasty Chat over on YouTube. F the dogs, he says. Go Wildcats. So it's getting a little messy on the YouTube chat as well. Nasty Chat.
Yeah, it always brings out the most in fans, in
what's your
alumni.
Again, you've been part of this both on and off the field. What's your for air story? Has there been any, like, I mean, you go out on the town, you see a Wildcats jacket or something like that. I mean, is it one of those things where you guys have, maybe going off the field, but any sort of, like, we hear about it in college so much. I mean, there's the wrapping of the trees with Toilet Auburn and all that. Like, is there any sort of, like, steal the dog or steal the cat mascot that has happened over the years?
It would be cool if they had something that they were playing for, like the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know the what would it be?
Well, what would it be? Answer in the Nasty Chat here. What should it be? The Battle for the Edmonton.
The metal pierogi.
Yeah.
What is something?
The metal. I like the pierogi.
What about the riverboat? The Edmonton riverboat.
Battle for the boat.
That battle for the boat because
the boat graces it in your colors if you win for the whole year. Yeah.
Both of their clubhouses are located and situated right on the river valley. Yeah. The Wildcats are at Rundle Park. The Huskies are down at below the high level bridge there.
You own the river.
I think you own the river. The battle for the boat.
I'm going to have to plug this computer in. It's losing a bit of energy.
Oh, you go do your thing. I'll talk to myself for 5 minutes. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first time, Eric. No, this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this. The crowd, like I said, it's going to be a full house. And like I said, the Huskies want to pack the house. That's why they're offering 50% off game tickets today. And potentially, we might be doing another game. I still have yet to hear back from Maddie, so we'll see how that's going to go. But once again, go to EdmontonHuskies.com. Use promo code EST. When you purchase tickets, use promo code EST, and you get 50% off. Just a reminder, both these teams have a 1-3 record. The average points put up for the Huskies, excuse me, it's 13.2. The average points allowed for the Huskies is 38.5. So Eric and I touched on this earlier in the game. The Huskies have got to find a way to get their offense going. One way I would suggest is getting Aaron DeMerchant going. Their leading rusher has 30 carries for 190 yards. You look at this offensive line for the Huskies, and this is an older group. This is a group that is talented. I just don't know why the running game has not clicked for them. But maybe this is a game, like you said, Eric, where anything can happen. Maybe some of these stats will flip. To be honest with you, if you looked at these two teams,
because the Wildcats know they're going to have to shut that down, and the Huskies know they're going to have to shut down the aerial. So I mean, now there's an option and a chance for the opposites, I guess, to come out and maybe catch them by surprise.
I think if you're the here's Dave in section
Dave, my man.
Oh, there he is. He used the EST promo code. There we are.
See, a true believer.
There you go, Dave.
50% off.
Well done.
More for the beer tent. There you go.
Yes, we will. No. We'll come catch up with you in a minute. So we are going to be joined, just a reminder as well, we're going to be joined by Huskies general manager Jason Lorrimer, as well as Ian McLean, Huskies coach, that brought them back-to-back national championships in 2004 and 2005. We're going to catch up with him, see what he's up to these days, as well as what, if he keeps tabs on the team still, how far can you really step away from a team after you've been such a big part of them, and they were a big part of your family as well.
In those 2 years, I mean, that's historical stuff. I said to you, he never pays for a meal in this town. Now, I mean, maybe I'm going a little far, but I mean, it is one of those things where he's cemented himself in the lore of this organization. Nick in the North on the Nasty Chat, go North Side. We pre-drink harder than the South parties. And Barry the Cheater says Wildcats own the North Side. So
there you go.
It's a lot of Wildcat pride being shown right now in the chat.
I think Northside generally you'd take Northsiders over Southsiders, right?
If I'm talking about it, I mean, from what
what you know about the north side of city versus the south sides of cities.
The rep. Yeah.
The rep. North side has a little bit more grit, a little bit more sandpaper.
I'm out walking late at night more so on the south side than the north side. I think I would be.
Jason, you can come join us. You can come sit down.
Yep.
We are pleased to be joined by GM of the Edmonton Huskies, Jason Lorrimer. Oh, there I think we got you.
I think I'm there. I can kind of hear myself.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Can you get it? You get it good?
Yeah.
No, you good there?
Yeah.
I hope so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if it's good for you, it's good for us. How you doing, buddy?
I've been running around this morning. We've had a good day.
And as I put my hand on your shoulder, I feel heat emanating from your body. So, yes, I've seen you running around like a chicken with your head cut off. That's what GMs do. And honestly, Jay, that's the beauty of this is and I hope you don't mind me disclosing this, but you're not getting paid for this. You're not getting, free food for a year from Pizza Hut or something like that.
No.
You're doing this out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing it because you love the organization. And without people championing things like this, the Edmonton Huskies simply wouldn't thrive and wouldn't survive. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Now, not the start to the season you'd want as well.
Well, when we spoke a couple weeks ago, it was something that you could be realistically looking at. You're playing the two best teams in the country back to back to back with a team that, as I mentioned the other week, we're extremely young. I pulled up the numbers the other day, and under year two, which is how we grade our players, we had 67 players under year two, and that's on a 100-man roster.
Wow.
So it's two-thirds of the team has very minimal game day experience, if any, and the boys are stepping up, and we've got some extremely talented kids that are going to give the Wildcats a good run for their money.
Well, Eric and I, off the top, we discussed it, and let's be honest here. You look at the start to your season, and you host Regina, then you go out to Saskatoon, and although you'd like to say, okay, guys, let's try to get one of those or both of those, the reality is those are two of the best teams in the PFC. Yep. So was this something where, as an organization, you looked at this schedule and said, okay, when we get to this halfway mark or when we get to the back-to-back against the Wildcats, those are two games we've got to take advantage of, because then the rest of your season, that includes a back-to-back against somebody you're going to be competing with for a playoff spot in the Calgary Colts. Was that something at the start of the year that maybe behind closed doors, now you can maybe say that you looked at and said, this is a part we have to take advantage of?
Yes and no. So when we were looking at the start of the schedule, we knew because of the age of the team that we were going to be, for lack of a better term, exposed of all of our deficiencies. We knew it was going to happen because they're the two best teams in the country. And when it came to it, they really did expose us.
Yeah.
They wrote the playbook on what's going to be our biggest challenges. And it was beautiful because we got the opportunity to find out where our mistakes were, and then we actually got a bye week.
Yes.
Which gave us two solid weeks to fix all the concerns. And if you happen to catch the game last week, when we came out to a 23-2 lead at halftime, and the 2 points that the Wildcats got, we actually took a knee on. It shows that we fixed a lot of the issues we had. Now, that being said, we put in our backups, and then the Wildcats, they let their best players loose, literally. And
that was the second half there.
That was the second half. They've got a couple of really fantastic athletes, and they just took advantage of screen passes and let their athletes be athletes. And we struggled to keep up. So what happens now is we relook at the schedule, the game play, and we're going to adapt and make sure we can overcome all the opportunities where we struggled at last week, because the coaching staff has done a great job analyzing everything and breaking it all down.
Fast start, getting off to a fast start. Is that something that this team is looking at to turn around? Because heading into this game, the Huskies have put up 6 points in the first quarter, 0 in the third quarter. So start a game, start a second half. Is that something that the coaching staff is aware of and looking to address? And I'm not even sure how you address that. You know what I mean?
The way the coaching staff has been dealing with it is they don't want those highs and lows. They want you to just go and play your best football and only worry about your mistakes. Belichick's always made it clear, do your job. Everybody knows the line. It's one of the greatest lines in sports. And just doing your job is what everyone has to do, because as soon as I start to try and overcompensate for you, something on my side is messed up. And that's the beauty of football, is you have to do your job, and you have to be able to support your guys by doing your job. And everyone comes together as a unit, and you succeed.
Why aren't you a head coach?
Because I'm terrible.
You're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's not like you're not a busy man.
You make me want to run through that wall.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, all I'm doing is reiterating what our coaches say.
Okay.
So I'm just pretty good at reiterating.
Heck of a rushing attack, though, last week. Hey, I mean, that was clearly something of a strength and probably something that you guys will lean on again this week.
Well, you know what? It was actually a strength last year. Last year we led the league in rushing, which surprised everybody, because typically it's been Saskatoon or Regina.
Yeah.
So our offensive line and the coaching staff there have done an amazing job of teaching the boys. I'll walk into the Husky house, and the guys are literally having, for lack of a better term, a head-to-head competition on whoever could write the play up fastest.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun to watch, because they're like, nope, okay, this is the play call, boop, 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 X's and O's, and making sure they're doing their jobs right. And then they work the technique when they get on the field, because they need the knowledge to allow the run game to succeed.
And Neats as well. I mean,
man, that kid's,
speak of him for a bit.
Yeah, he's been turned into something special. When he came into the organization, everyone was like, he's going to push our starter right to the limit, to the point where right out of the gate, I want to say it was week 1, halfway through the game, we made the adjustment.
Yeah.
And ran with him, and he's been taking over and doing his thing. He's going to be a phenomenal player over the next 5 years.
And so be it. Competition breeds success, hey, and that's what you want in this program.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got a deep quarterback room right now as well. We've got guys that were out of the game for a year or two come back in. Ty Kohut coming from Belrose. That kid's got an absolute cannon. He's working along through that playbook really, really well. Chris Ioannidis is a phenomenal leader, and he started a couple games for us last year, and he's taken that leadership role to a different level, supporting and growing the rookies coming on in. So it's it's the perfect team guy.
Yeah. So obviously Jackson Harnet's not in at quarterback. What are some other injuries? I'm looking at your depth chart. I'm seeing some names that we're not seeing names that I saw earlier in the season.
We've got a lot of injuries this week, but unfortunately, Jackson isn't one of the injuries. Jackson decided to move on. We gave him his release, and here's the breaking news. He's gone off to the Regina Thunder.
Wow.
So he's going to be, he landed there. I talked to him last night, and make sure he landed all good and safe, and he's going to rock and roll and have a good time and take his opportunity over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Can we dive into this a bit?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, when a player is playing for the Huskies and them have an agreement. It's not necessarily a contract, but should a player like Jackson want to go play, because as especially in Edmonton.
We talked about earlier in playing time and everything in situations.
Well, I saw a lot of players here that I saw when I was a part of the Wildcats.
Yep.
They're now over here with the Huskies.
Yeah.
Okay, so it happens. Okay, whether it's you don't like what's going on, you don't mesh with this, or you're not getting your fair amount of playing time, things like that happen. But the Huskies or Wildcats have to sign their release before they can go back into the general pool. How is that, having a guy that, by all accounts was the guy this year, maybe didn't go his way, but that's something that you guys had to agree on to say, okay, Jackson, we're going to let you do this.
It just speaks to the character of the kid. Jackson's an amazing human being. You guys have interviewed him in the past and know how special he is as a person. He dealt with the situation in the best possible way. He came in his role being a starter, struggled. In my opinion, I told this to him the other night, he wasn't making some of the best pass decisions, and that gave Wesley the opportunity to take over.
Yeah.
And Jackson struggled a little bit, but you would never know it by talking to him. He had a positive attitude. He was helping all the quarterbacks out, trying to make the team better, being that rah-rah guy. Heck, if you look at our highlight reel from last week, you'll see Jackson leading the charge of dance through the whole team. He's an absolutely special person, and we want to see the best for him. And he's got anywhere from 3 to 5 games left in his CJFL career. And with any luck, we'll have to beat him in the playoffs.
There you go.
Well, that's interesting. Now, is this a case of him wanting to put together some tape so that he could potentially go to the next level?
Absolutely. I told Jackson the other night, because we moved him over to returner because he has got wheels on it. I know that was his biggest gift, in my opinion. And he's he literally said, I'm an offensive player. I want the opportunity to get as much film being an offensive player as possible. So, hey, I wish him the best, and he's an amazing kid, like I said.
So, in your opinion, and thank you for taking time, we're not going to take too much more of it up. I know you're a busy guy. I know you got all this place to run. I know your wife's working the beer tent. She brought us over a couple of refreshments earlier.
Yeah.
So God bless her. Is this a loser goes home game, in your opinion?
We have to execute, and if we execute to our best of our abilities, there's no team in the country that can keep up with us. We just have to make sure we repeat that first half of the first half of the game, and we'll do our best, and it'll show up.
The remainder of the schedule, too, after this, it's a home and home with Calgary. Jason and I were talking that you kind of went through that. We knew that road trip was going to be tough, but you get that out of the way. Now you're kind of looking where you're positioned. It's all in your hands.
Yeah, exactly. We have full control over it. We knew it was going to be the gauntlet.
Yeah.
You know, and those two teams, they're violent.
Yeah.
And we really just need to get through this. We win this game today, we're going to be in a much better place. That puts us, I believe, one game out of playoff contention.
Yep.
And then, once again, Calgary home and home, Winnipeg coming back here to finish off the season. We'll be in a real good place, and then we'll be off to, I would predict, Saskatoon.
Yep.
What's the capacity of this place?
2,500 without the overflow.
2,500.
2,500 without the overflow.
So what are you realistically expecting? I mean, we were here on the home opener, and it was busy. I think this is busier already earlier.
Yeah.
Are you guys expecting a capacity crowd?
Well, I know I could speak to you on this because you were a part of this day. A couple years ago, I believe it was your home opener at Emerald Hills for the Wildcats. And it was a beautiful day, just like today. And they packed in 2,800 people, I believe it was. The bowl was full. It was a beautiful day.
Yep.
I'm hoping to get to that level for our stadium with the extra 1,000 people in capacity in the big building itself.
Well, yeah. And do they open it up like to go sit on the berm around here?
Oh, nice.
Once it gets full, we'll do the exact
Really?
same thing.
Love it.
Because it's JP Bowl. It is built in a bowl. We can see West Edmonton Mall from here. So, like I said, it's not too late. We really thank the Edmonton Huskies for collaborating with EST on this. It's not too late. Come on down. Join Eric and I. Heck, I'll even introduce you to Jason Lorrimer myself. You can go to EdmontonHuskies.com, click on Purchase Tickets, and use promo code EST, and you will get 50% off your tickets. Jason Lorrimer, thank you for joining us.
Good luck, Jason.
Go and have a glass of water, okay? Stay hydrated today.
Or a little more, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was Huskies GM Jason Lorrimer. Oh, I meant to tell him that.
Hey, Jay,
Ian McLean will be joining us as well shortly here, head coach of the championship teams, 04-05. Beautiful day for a football game, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't beat this. I know sometimes you get this schedule, too. You only have a handful of games and gates that you can get, and you're just praying and crossing your fingers that the weather cooperates. Gorgeous today.
This is perfect football weather. The breeze is nice. If there was no movement in air, this would be.
Well, it won't be affecting the game.
No,
but as
it
a
won't
fan
be.
watching, it'll be nice to kind of cool off a bit when you're in the sun. Getting 23, 24, probably around kickoff time today. So yeah, you can't get much better than that.
I'm just excited I get to hang out with you. That makes my day.
We're having a great time here. Yeah, it's and again, maybe not this year. It's too late, but next year, Courageous Estes.
People got to vote
sweep
for
the
it,
voting.
you know?
We'd sweep the voting. I tell you.
Well, and that is a reminder. The Estes are coming up this Tuesday, September 16th, down at Metro Cinema at Garneau.
Garneau Theater. Yeah.
Garneau Theater at Metro Cinema. I always get
Garneau,
this confused.
Metro, you know the one.
You know the one. It's the one
one
on 109th Street, just across the high-level bridge. Join us for fun, for evening filled with laughter and entertainment.
Red carpet.
Red carpets.
Photographers there.
Red
the whole
carpets.
bit. Red carpets?
Yes, plural. Maddie went all in here.
Yeah, he spared no expense.
He spared no expense. We are going to have red carpets, folks.
Yep.
So come on by. You can email Estes at edmontonsportstalk.com if you want tickets. It's not too late.
$10.
And we've got Rob from the Grove that has
in the
just
house.
shown up.
Good to
He's
see
in
you,
the
man.
house. Nice to see you. Good to see you. So other ESTers, come on down and join us here. Look, I'm really excited to see the start of this game. I don't know, people that listen to the Green and Gold kickoff show, post-game show, well, primarily the kickoff show, are probably sick of hearing me say this, but it's true. So much comes out of the start of a game. You just heard it from Jason Lorrimer. himself that last week the Edmonton Huskies got off to an incredible start. Okay. Oh, wow, look at this. Good, how are you?
Hey, man.
This is unexpected, but my gosh, we'll take it. There, you put those on. Okay, well, I am pleased to introduce, and this is, if you've been in Edmonton and you've been playing football and you haven't lived under a rock, you will know who is sitting in between us. We are joined by legendary coach, broadcaster John Belmont. How are you doing today?
Really well. The sun's shining. I'm on this side of the turf. It's doing really good.
Now, I'm going to start this off with a personal John Belmont story. Do you remember me?
Never heard of you, Jason.
Great answer.
So, I go out of high school. I think I'm hot to trot. I'm good at football. I go to the Golden Bears spring camp. John Belmont is the defensive backs coach.
Okay.
They had a player at the time, I don't know if you've heard of him, his name's Jamie Stoddard.
Yes.
Who went on to play and win Grey Cups with
Decorated
Winnipeg Blue
career,
Bomber, very
yeah.
decorated, good receiver. Well, one-on-ones come up, and Jamie Stoddard turned me into the turf twice on the same play. It was disgusting. And I remember after that camp, John Belmont came up to me and he says, son, he says, there's junior football for guys like you.
Oh, well,
and to him, you know what? I am so thankful that you said that, and I'm thankful that you still stand up for junior football, as I do as well, because at that age, I was 17.
Yeah.
You're going up against 22, 23-year-olds, 21-year-olds that are men.
You've spoken of that time for you and your physique and everything, yeah.
Going to play junior football changed the outlook for me, changed the course. I went and I played very, very well for 2 good years with the Wildcats, and then I went to U of A and my school was paid for.
Yep.
You know, I wish more kids would do that. There's a strong appetite. And what do you think about that, Coach Belmont? You know, the desire for kids to come out of high school and think they can go play at the CIS or U Sports level.
Well, the amazing thing to me about it, Jason, is that so many young people, they watch television, they watch collegiate football, both NC2A and of course CIS, and they're just like to play there.
Yeah.
But they don't realize how good it is. And the biggest part of it for me is, and I try to tell these young fellas that the jump from high school to junior is huge.
Mm-hmm.
The jump from junior to university is minuscule. If you make it in junior ball and you're doing well, when you go up to university, you're going to start over some kid that went there as a rookie and is just sapped.
Yeah.
And that happens over and over again. I would love to see where the University of Alberta looked at junior football in this community as having 2 junior varsity teams, and literally they've got good scholarship funds and everything there. Just tell them you're going to play junior for a couple of years, but we'll scholarship you, help you with your academics and that, and then you come up and you're going to start.
Yeah.
But it's a mentality that we see, and it's in all the universities. It's not just here. It's a mentality that they have to know our system, da-da-da-da-da-da. But junior football, as you know, Jason, playing in this conference, this is the most physical football conference, amateur football conference in Canada. Very physical.
Yeah. So looking towards this team now, because are you not doing the color on the broadcast here? You've obviously followed this team. You're close with this team. You know, that game last week out at Emerald Hills sure was a tale of 2 halves, but the Huskies held on, got their first victory of the season. How do you see it shaping up, and what do the Huskies have to do to make sure they get a win today?
Well, the big thing is they tell you what football is to me, and it always has been for many, many years. It is basically hustle and fundamentals. The teams that block and tackle the best win. And I don't care whether you're looking at Pee Wee or you're looking at the CFL or the NFL. It's the same thing. So much today, people get caught up in systems, and they forget that the ability to run to a hole, the ability to explode through it, to put one move, for example, on a linebacker or DB, is every bit as important as that system you put in. So you have to work on those fundamentals. I look at a lot of linemen today that block they only block zone blocking. If they have to fold or cross or do things like that, it's very difficult for them. Some do it extremely well. So, and those are the ones that literally have learned the fundamentals. And when they have those fundamentals down, you can play any system, but you got to have them.
And that's, you were talking about the PFC and that in between the high school and the collegiate. I mean, that's where you kind of learn a lot of this stuff, right, and sharpen that skill.
Not only do you learn the fundamentals, but now you're playing with guys that were every bit as good as you in high school, and so now the compete level is very high, and you got to do it every day.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference. And you know, Jason, when you got playing junior ball, it probably didn't take it. You were always athletic, even with your build. You were pretty athletic. And you know, the biggest thing to me about it was that it didn't take you long to get to the level you needed to be.
Yeah.
And then when you came back to university, you had a very good career.
Yeah, no, it worked out well. I was thankful that a coach was honest enough and realized the importance of junior. Whereas now I think there's such a desire for youth sports to get them into the fold early. And you're right, the communication between youth sports and junior football is almost broken. And it shouldn't be. You should treat that as a farm system, for goodness sake. You've got 2 junior teams in Edmonton.
That's right.
Why you're not taking them and saying, okay, you get him for 2 years and send him up to me. When he's matured, he's gotten some muscle on him, and he understands the game, he understands travel. There's so many benefits to being able to do that. But I don't know why they don't do it. Now, here's a question to you. As you've coached for a very long time, why is it that, you know, I'm looking at the Huskies, for instance. They've scored a total of 6 first-quarter points all season. They've scored 0 in the third quarter. So start of game, start of second half. What can a coaching staff, what can Coach Marshall Klein do to get this team going and off like a bottle rocket at the start of the game and the start of the second half?
Well, what they have to do is take a look at themselves and say, what are we doing that is causing this to happen? And then they have a leadership group. I mean, most teams do
Yep.
now, at even high school levels. Take those guys and get the information from them.
Yep.
A lot of those kids have that information. Something is stopping them from being fired up to play, and you have to turn that around. And a lot of people say, oh, you got to have a fiery pregame and halftime talk. It's not that. It's mental and emotional preparation. And remember I talked about compete level a little while ago. You have to be able to be at that compete level on the opening kickoff, whether you're returning or kicking off. So the first thing I look for in a game, and I'll do it up top today, whoever's kicking off, how's their coverage in? Are they really getting down? Are they in their lanes? Are they? You see the firing. Same with the blocking on them. Are they getting back to depth? Are they picking people up? Are they driving their blocks or making contact and stopping their feet?
Right.
That tells me a lot of what's going to happen with the offense and defense. And this is a thing that I stress with our young players that I work with today at high school, that the most important thing for you is to be mentally and emotionally prepared when you step on that field. Whatever you're doing, you could be a place kicker, you could be a lineman, doesn't matter. You have to be prepared to compete at the level that game needs. And it's not easy to do, and there's no magic words. I believe it comes in preparation during the week.
Well, that's just incredible insight, and I appreciate your time. I know you've got to get up to do the broadcast, but I have to ask you one more question. Both these teams are 1-3 coming into this game. However, if you look towards the remaining schedule for the Huskies, it looks a lot more achievable in terms of victories than it would for the Wildcats. But I'll ask you this, John Belmont, is this a loser goes home game today?
Well, it could be. When you take a look at where they are, both of them at 1-3, so we're going into the second half of the conference, and you have to have a win. You have to get up to where you can compete. If you want to get into the playoffs at all, you have to be minimum 4-4, probably 5-3. So you look at it right now, and I'm looking at, in reality, you got Winnipeg, you got Regina, you got Saskatoon. Those are the top 3. The bottom 3 teams, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yep.
So you have to be competitive in this game. In my mind, they have to win this game.
All right. Well, you heard it from John Belmont. Hey, if we're back here again later in the season, I got to have you on again because this was just too good.
Great stuff.
Thank you, John. Appreciate
Have a good
that.
call, Coach.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
And thank you for being honest with me at a young, impressionable time in my life.
Well, that was pretty easy to do because you weren't really damn good.
All right. You're going to get the truth from John Belmont whenever he comes on. Thank you, sir. That was fantastic. Oh, that man makes me smile. That is a guy that has just if you talk about football in Edmonton,
That's a football coach.
you
That's
know John Belmont, and you know what he's just done. He's been around it so long. He's been around this organization, that being the Edmonton Huskies. He's up there with the likes of the Bob Beulahs of the world in terms to his importance of this organization, keeping it together. Because I'll tell you, with junior football, there's especially in this market, and it is what it is. This isn't Saskatoon, where the Hilltops are, one of the big games in town.
It's a different market, yeah.
It's a different market. You're competing against the Oilers. You're competing against the Elks. You're competing against the other team in the city.
You got two.
So there's been dark times in every organization. That is not any news to anyone, but it's people like John Belmont and especially the leadership group here, Bob Beulah, Curtis Craig, Jason Lorrimer, people like that are what keep these organizations going, and junior football definitely thanks them for that. I did see CJFL Commissioner Jim Pankovic is in the house. I don't know how you could turn down
it's a rivalry game.
Rivalry game
Battle
such
for
as this.
the gilded pierogi or whatever. We need, this needs to.
Okay, on your show,
we should forward this.
Maybe tomorrow is Dusty's in
He's
tomorrow?
back. Yeah.
Okay, you guys got to come up with something.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Wouldn't that be cool if EST was the starting
sure.
point for getting a trophy associated with these
We just started
games?
talking about it. I mean, you'll get full. That's the thing. You played in these games. You know the importance and the grudge match of it. So why not have a little something for them to play for, as opposed to just a playoff position?
Because what are some of the other ones that you've seen being played for? I've seen like a bell,
Paul Bunyan's axe, all that stuff. The jeweled shillelagh between Trojans and Irish, I guess.
What is something that is very Edmonton that they could play for?
The green onion cake.
The green onion cake.
Yeah, but it's all bronzed.
Yes. This is definitely it.
You get a few sponsors for that, us included. Why not?
Man,
you can make trophies. Anybody can get a trophy. People have beautiful trophies for fantasy football leagues. For crying out loud, we can get one.
Well, Maddie's coming into his slow season now. Once the Esties are done, he's pretty much got nothing to do.
He's not a very busy man. You're right. I'm sure he can put this on his to-do list. Pierogi, green onion cake. I mean, there's got to be. I like your Battle for the River thing too, where they kind of, You get the River Queen for a year. You get to deck it out in your colors.
Well,
the winning team gets to have a party on it or something like that.
I think what we'd have to do is turn the boat into. It would have to still be in a shape of a cup, as a boat would be. It's got a hollowed core. So that you could drink something out of it.
Yes, you need. It's not just a trophy, but something to drink out of. You could hollow out a pierogi. Maybe they could eat pierogies out of the pierogi. Rob from the Grove in the Nasty Chat says green onion cake bowl, the construction bowl. I don't know if you want to kind of go that route too.
Well, they could make a bowl out of asphalt. That would be good.
There's that.
Add some flavor.
I just think it's screaming out for something like that. and not like too cheesy or corny, but a little wacky. Why not?
Wackier the better.
You got to have a little fun with it, but it's also something that, gives the players pride, and you want to keep that thing in your clubhouse, just like any sort of, fantasy football. I mean, we're in the Dunya. I want that damn jersey.
The keeper of the cup.
You keeper of the cup, and it gives your clubhouse some pride, and, especially with a crosstown rivalry, if Saskatoon or Regina, for example, or somebody else, that's out of town, but this is cross city, so sure we could think up something. We'll put our best.
If you and Dusty put your heads together on that,
and the Nasties,
and I'm not even
come up with the best ideas.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe a weekly rankings of power would be something to rank some top 10 ideas.
Well, I'm serious in that I would if it was done right.
Yes,
and we did get something that was appropriate and adequate to present it to them and say, like, can you imagine if Edmonton Sports Talk was the starter of the keeper of the Cup series.
Well, and we are. Like, we have to.
Well, yeah.
Archive this show.
Yeah.
We've got it on record.
Yes.
We were the ones to talk about it first.
Yeah, and if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's EST.
Yeah.
I mean, look what this team has done in the first 2 years of
We have
existence.
an award show on Tuesday with multiple red carpets for crying out loud.
Yeah, I'm presenting an award.
Yes.
You're presenting an award.
Yes. Are you going to do the whole Webster's Dictionary defines spirit?
Yeah.
You know.
I should do something really cheap.
Oh, you
like
got to
that.
have that stuff, right?
I was actually, I was thinking of, Reed and I are presenting an award together.
Yes.
And I was thinking that we present it using limericks only.
That would be a nice touch,
right?
The fact, yeah.
It would tie things
show,
in.
yeah.
And you can hear this crowd is already getting fired up. We are 3 minutes away from kickoff here at JP Bowl, but it is not too late if you wanted to come down and join Eric and I and several other nasties that we've seen piling in here. You can come and join us down here at JP Bowl. Go to EdmontonHuskies.com, click on Purchase Tickets, use promo code EST, and you will get in for 50% off. It is a beautiful day. Eric, wrapping things up here, what are your predictions for today's game?
Well, and you mentioned the first and the third quarters have kind of been a Sahara desert for the Huskies in terms of scoring. I think given the events and in what's on the line, we've talked about coining this kind of a loser goes home game in much of the sense. So I'm to be honest, Huskies are home. They're feeling good off not only getting the win last week, Emerald Hill, but also holding on for the win. I mean, they were up early. They let the Wildcats get back into it, but ultimately they came away with the W. I think they'll want to show up today, and I think they'll be fired up knowing what's on the line and knowing that they've got the Wildcats in their own backyard. So I see some scoring. I'll go out on a limb. I say I'll see some scoring from the Huskies here in the opening quarter. And I think, too, that they won't go away from that bread and butter, and that'd be the running game. I think another big game along the ground for whichever back you want to call it for today. But, yeah, and obviously, I mean, having to neutralize LQ a bit. I mean, he was, as I mentioned, his quarterback rating. He was near perfect last week. So they're going to have to do something there. But I think they come out. I think they do put some points up on the board in the first. And but, again, what we saw last week in halftime adjustments, obviously the Wildcats made them. And we had Jason on, GM Jason, talking about, playing some of the backups there. So I think scoring first, getting out in front will be something the Huskies do today. And I think that'll go a long way in securing another W.
Well, you know what I'm cheering for? I just want this to be a good game.
Oh, I want it. Yeah,
You know, I want to have a nail biter at the end.
Exactly.
And obviously for your home team, Edmonton Huskies, obviously they're the ones that come out on the winning end. At least that's what you would prefer. So let's see what happens. I'm excited. Eric's excited. A reminder that this Edmonton Huskies pregame show on Edmonton Sports Talk was presented by Play Alberta, where you can go on anytime, playalberta.ca, click on sports, click on EST specials. You'll see all the boosted odds. You will not find these boosted odds on any other book in Canada, in North America. You are getting the best odds around at playalberta.ca. This has been fun. Eric, thank you very much. I enjoy your company. I'm going to enjoy your company as we saddle up to the
getting a little thirsty
to the rail over there and watch some awesome junior football here. On behalf of myself, Jay Milne, the glue guy, and Lieutenant Eric, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.